everybody, this is Brittany with the Homestead Trail. In today's video, we are going to talk about the new Incuview XL cabinet style incubator from the Incubator warehouse. So if you guys have seen some of my hatching videos, you know that we used to use the small, very cheap styrofoam style circulated fan models. And we had a heck of a time with those. The temperature fluctuations were just crazy. We had some decent hatch rates, but we also had some really poor ones as well. And I think a lot of it had to do with the crappy incubator we were trying to use. So I have wanted to upgrade to a cabinet style for a long time. And I did a bunch of research, and this was the one that we eventually settled on. So today we're getting ready to put in our first batch of eggs. And so I want to go with you guys through like a first impression type of a thing. And then in following videos, we'll see how the hatch rate ends up being. A quick disclaimer before we begin. As always, these opinions are my own. This is not a sponsored video whatsoever. I paid for this with my own money. Incubator Warehouse does not know me or my channel with 5 subscribers. So I bought this with my own money and my opinions are my own. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. As I was doing my research and trying to decide which one I wanted to buy, really it came down to this one or the GQF Sportsman 1502. What I liked about both of them were they are both an incubator and a hatcher in one, which was really important to me. I wanted to be able to do everything in one container. But ultimately what made me decide to get this one was it ended up being about a $200 to $300 difference. On the Incubator Warehouse Facebook page, they had a $100 off coupon code for this incubator in particular. I think it's a newer model, and so I think they were kind of doing that in exchange for reviews. And again, they don't know that I'm making this video, but I guess this is their review that they're getting from me. But so it ended up being $100 off just from that, which I do think that coupon has expired. But if you're thinking about buying one of these, definitely check out their Facebook page just in case, because I have seen a couple different coupon codes on there, especially for their products, because this was made by Incubator Warehouse. So even without the coupon code, this is still cheaper than the GQF by about $25. But the GQF does not include any trays, so you'd have to buy those separately, and a set of 6 is about $40. And then it also, the GQF doesn't include anything for humidity. So you'd either have to buy this humidity set separate, or you just have to do it manually, which would probably be a pain in the butt for a incubator this big. This came with a pretty good instruction manual. It's very thorough and it was really easy to set up. Some stats if any of you are curious. This is able to hold 216 chicken eggs, 180 duck eggs, 126 goose eggs, and the trays that it comes with are too small for quail eggs, so you cannot hatch quail in this system. Okay, so let's show you how this thing works. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but there definitely is a fan noise, but I would say it's probably actually quieter than the styrofoam models. You can definitely tell that it's on, but the sound is not bad. Here we can see the control module. The T there, that is the current temperature. It is automatically preset to 99.5. There is a way to adjust that, and that is in the instruction manual, but you know, unless you need to, there's no need to change it. The HTR is the amount of power going to the heater, and so you can see when it's 99.5, the percentage stays about 2, and then as the temperature starts to drop, it kicks up to 51%. When you first turn it on, it'll be up to 100% to get that temperature up, and it does heat up very quickly. So as you can see, this is a very responsive system, and it does seem extremely accurate. Okay, let's start with my absolute favorite part of this incubator, and that is the clear top. Here what you're seeing is the hatching tray, and it's got this little traction sheet that it comes with in here. And this allows you to watch everyone hatch without any obstructions at all. I am so excited about that. I think that is such a cool idea. I'm pretty sure with the GQF model, the hatching tray was actually at the very bottom of the cabinet. So you would have to pull it out to see who was hatching and what was going on, which I think that would have been kind of a bummer. So I'm really excited about this. I've been keeping my backup thermometers in here as well. And as you can see, they're both very close. Their probes are on different shelves. And actually part of the design of this incubator is the bottom shelf has the warmest temperature, and then they gradually and slightly decrease in temperature as you go up to to where the hatching tray actually has the lowest temperature out of all of them. And that is by design because you actually don't need such a high temperature for hatching. Another cool thing is, you could probably barely see that, but the humidity is coming in right there. There you go, now you can see it. But yeah, so that's where all the humidity is coming in. So that is also right next to the humidity trays, and that's where the humidity is needed the most, is during hatching and lockdown. So I thought that was a really cool design. And these thermometers, if you're needing one for your incubator, these are also from Incubator Warehouse, and I've been really pleased with them. The coolest thing about them is they include a memory. And so you can clear it out whenever you want, but it'll show you the lowest temperature that's occurred since the last clearing and any spikes. I know with my styrofoam incubators, a couple of times it would spike up to 112 or 117. So obviously my hatch rates weren't great for those, but I can tell you we've done a couple of trial runs with this incubator and there have not been any crazy spikes like that. It has maintained temperature perfectly. Okay, let's talk about the Humidity Kit. And this did come with it. I did not have to buy this separate. It has kind of this control module over here, and then it has the actual thing over here, and you can see the light turns on whenever it kicks on. And it's got kind of this bendy straw type of a thing that connects it into the incubator, and you get to pick which side it goes into, so that's pretty cool depending on what your setup is. And it comes with this bottle. It has used probably this much water in about 12 hours. So it's probably something that you're going to have to fill up almost every day, depending on what your climate is. But it's winter here. We've got a wood stove, so our air is super dry. So I kind of anticipated that. But this control module, it's really easy to set up. They give really good instructions. What's nice about it is you get to set the percentage that you want to keep it at, and then you also get to set what the range is. So if you want to keep it at exactly 45 with only a 1% difference up or down, you can do that, which I think is really, really cool. I think I have this one set at 45 plus or minus either 3 or 5. But it seems like it's keeping up really well. Down here is where it connects to the sensor. The sensor for this goes at the very, very bottom. Okay, so now we're going to add in our eggs. From a local breeder, we got some Marron eggs, I think is how you say it, Marron. So they're this really nice dark chocolatey color. These are a lot darker than any of our birds. But we're gonna be hatching these out for him. And this is our very first actual hatch with this incubator. So we're gonna see, since these eggs were not shipped, they were homegrown, just homegrown elsewhere, not on our farm. I'm really hoping for a 100% hatch rate, assuming all are fertile. It's January here, so who knows, but so we're gonna go ahead and put these in. This is gonna be our very first actual hatch run. We've done a couple runs where we just let it run for 12 hours and we monitor the highs and lows for the temperature and the humidity. We've been extremely pleased with those trials so far, but this is the real test with actual eggs. Okay, so we're gonna open her up. She's got these brackets on the side here. Okay, so hopefully you can see. Scoot you closer. Okay, so these are just my thermometer probes. You can ignore those. But as you can see, the trays on this are totally different from any other incubator I've seen. I'm used to the kinds where you set the eggs up vertically and then they tilt them like this. But what's really cool about these is you lay them in there horizontally and then it rolls them. So I think that's a much more natural of a movement for the eggs, because I don't think sitting up vertically for the entire incubation period is really realistic. I think this is going to be a lot more natural, and I think just from that, I think we're going to have better results. So there's 6 trays. Like I said, you did not have to buy these separately. It came with them automatically. And it's kind of interesting. You have to lock them together and then lock them in the back. So I'm going to show you that here in a second. As I was saying before, the temperature difference, it's going to be the hottest at the bottom where the fans are, and then it's going to slowly decrease as you go up. So what they recommend is that you start your eggs week 1 at the bottom, and then every week you bring them up until it's time for lockdown, and that's when you move them up to the hatching tray. So we're gonna start these guys down here at the very bottom. And down here, there is no trays. You don't put any eggs down here. This is just the hygrometer sensor, and the fans and stuff are clear in the back there. Okay, so I'm going to push these forward to unlatch them. Go. And as you can see, they kind of go together like that. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. But there's a little ball here, and it just latches on to this. So we're going to leave that guy back there because we don't have enough to fill 2 whole trays. And then we're going to put the eggs in this. So pretty. Look at that color. I have to get me some of these. Alright, so I'm going to latch that here. And let's see. I'm just going to put these towards the closest here because we only have 8. These right here. Okay, so we've got all the eggs in there. You can kind of see how this tray, this is kind of the movement it's going to do. It's going to roll these back and forth, and that is what's going to turn them. And it's automatically preset to where I believe it turns 2 to 3 times a day. And that was another thing they said, that you don't have to adjust necessarily. So to get those to latch to the turner on the back, you just push like this until you hear a click. There we go. I just heard the click. And then you pull back, and whenever you feel resistance, you know that it's in. And so that's it. That was really easy. I don't know how it'll go whenever I have an entire tray. I don't know if you have to just kind of feed it and then push it forward a little bit and feed the next row, push it forward a little bit. These trays are kind of flimsy. They're pretty thin plastic, so I don't know if I would want to be walking around with one of those trays completely full of my very valuable hatching eggs. But yeah, I think if you just fed them that way, that would be just fine. But you will notice as these run, this tray, sometimes it'll be clear over here, and then it'll go clear back. So you can visualize the turning, which is good. So yeah, let's get this closed up, and we'll get these guys started. Okay, so we just finished putting the eggs in probably a minute ago, and as you can see, the temperature is already back up to 92, and the humidity is creeping back up there as well. You can see it's coming in, but yeah, this thing does not take very long at all to get back to temperature. One thing I did that the incubator did not come with is just buy this really cheap dry erase board, so I can put on the side all my dates that I set, when I need to go on lockdown and when I need to hatch, just so I don't forget. And also I went ahead and bought a couple things of distilled water. I'm gonna need to buy a lot more, but we have really hard well water around here, so just to keep this thing running as long as we can, not having to clean all the time, went ahead and we got some of that. So there you have it, you guys. That is our first impression of this new Incuview XL by Incubator Warehouse cabinet style incubator. I am extremely impressed by this, and I really anticipate an awesome result, but we'll just have to see 3 weeks from now when these guys hopefully start hatching. So keep an eye out for that video. It will be posted on our channel here soon. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.